This video is going to explain to you the most powerful NoFap benefit, sexual transmutation, and how you can use it to level up as a man. What's going on, Kings? It's Keefe. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button and bell icon. This channel is all about helping men level up and become those high value winners they were born to be. Now, let's get started with the video. So the first thing to address is, what is sexual transmutation? Well, transmutation is just simply the process of changing form from one thing to another. So for example, ice melts and turns into liquid water. That is a form of transmutation. Now, this same process occurs for you and the energy within you. So for example, let's say you've got anger within you because you're not happy with your money situation. You are lacking in money. Now, that anger is an energy within you, and it can be transmuted into a different thing. It can be transmuted into a ton of different actions that you take based on it. The first idea, maybe you get motivated and you decide, I'm not happy about the situation I find myself in, so I'm gonna actually go do something about it. And this might take the form of transmuting that energy of anger into the energy of taking action and going out and, maybe getting new skills that'll help you earn more money, or adding a second source of income, or taking a look at a budget and figuring out where your money's going. These are all productive ways of transmuting that anger into something that helps you. Or on the flip side, you could take that energy and you could transmute it into a positive, and you could have a bad mood, you could have road rage, you could be a dick to everybody you talk to and treat the people around you like shit. It's really like, ultimately, you can transmute that energy into a ton of different things. So you're given many forms of energy in your life. You can have anger, lust, fear, desire, passion, joy, all these things. It includes sexual desire. And in each instance, you have a choice of how you're going to utilize that energy when it comes up. Now, the typical reaction of the modern man when he finds himself with that sexual energy within him is to transmute it into locking the door, closing the curtains, and whacking off to his phone screen. So basically what the man did was he transmuted that energy within him into the lowest form of physical pleasure possible. And now basically that energy has dissipated for at least the time being, and it is now not available for him to do something else with it. Now, like with my example with anger, however, you can transmute the energy of sexual desire into all kinds of things. You don't just have to use it for one thing. The same energy that causes you to watch porn can also be transmuted into creating real human lives, and it can also cause you to be motivated and take action and do creative things. This energy of sexual desire is probably the most powerful drive in men, and it can be transmuted into all kinds of things for positive or for negative. So in its simplest terms, sexual transmutation is simply about taking the energy of sexual desire and transmuting it into something else. So the real important part then becomes, what are we going to transmute it into? What are we going to turn this sexual energy into so that it can be something productive? And this is why this is the most powerful NoFap benefit. Now, most men don't consciously know how to control their sex drive, and so because of that, they either completely repress it or they let it control them, and they're basically like a puppet on the strings, and they're not even controlling their own lives. And in both of these cases, the energy is not transmuted into anything productive. However, it is possible to transmute this energy into something productive, like hitting the gym, doing deep work, using it as a motivator to help you to step out of your comfort zone and do something courageous, or anything else productive that you want to do. And what happens when you do this is you become capable of tapping into a force that gives you more focus and success than you were previously capable of. It's almost like if you've ever had a friend, or maybe you were this guy who had anger issues and he really could not control his anger, and every time he would get really angry, it's like he would become significantly more aggressive, and it's like all of a sudden he'd be like really strong, and like it would be crazy. Like he would suddenly have all this power at his disposal that he originally didn't have. And basically what this is a very uncontrolled form of transmutation. This type of person is very out of control when it comes to that anger energy, but it is transmuted, and because of that transmutation, he has more energy and more strength at his disposal. And the same thing can also occur with energies like love. I mean, it really just happens with any energy within the body can be transmuted transmuted into something. And in the case of love, I'm sure you've heard stories about mothers who are able to like lift up a car to save their kid if the car needed to be lifted up because it was on them or something like that. And then they're tested later and they can't even pick up 200 pounds. It's that transmuted energy that gives you an ability to do something that you previously weren't able to do. I want you to think right now about a time when you transmuted in energy, because you do this every single day. And I want you to go leave a comment about a time that you transmuted in energy, for better or worse, when you had an energetic feeling and you took an action based on it. So I want you to try this process that I'm getting ready to show you right now the next time that sexual energy comes up within you, so that you can see for yourself how this works. All you really need to do for the first part is kind of decide for yourself what it is you're trying to accomplish right now and what is the process of getting to that goal. And then next time you feel that sexual energy come along, you're going to transmute it into focus and work on that specific goal. For example, let's say that you're a college student and you get that sexual energy that comes up, and normally this leads to you fapping off or something like that. And in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to transmute that energy into deep work on studying for your classes so you can get way better grades. So here's how the process works. Firstly, what you're going to need to do is when that feeling arises within you, you need to fully accept it. This is going to require a lot of conscious awareness on your part, because most people simply aren't aware of what's happening to them, and that feeling will come up within them, but they're not present enough with themselves, and so it usually kind of takes over without them realizing. So what happens when you go into full acceptance is it means you stop fighting the feeling. What happens for most people is when a feeling comes up that they don't want to experience, they resist it with all their being and they try to ignore it. This usually might take the form of trying to escape it into maybe staring at your phone blankly or trying to turn on the TV to distract yourself. Basically anything that can distract you from this feeling within your body that you don't want to feel, or you just completely try to repress it and act like it's not happening. But the problem with both of these, as I'm sure you have experienced, is over time the feeling becomes undeniable, and the more you resist it, the bigger it gets, to the point where you end up caving into the feeling and it just completely takes over you. But by accepting the feeling and not trying to fight it, you are able to then utilize it. And you can think about it like this. Let's say you won $1 million and you decided, I'm not going to touch the $1 million at all. I'm just going to leave it over here. I don't want to deal with this $1 million, because what if I take the $1 million and I put it into a bad investment and it goes away and I lose the $1 million? But in reality, you've got this $1 million sitting right here, and yeah, you might do something stupid with it, but you could also use it for something really great. And it's kind of the same with this energy. Most guys are resisting it because they're trying to do NoFap and they're trying to like not give in to compulsion, which is great. But on the flip side, you've got the ability right here to use this for something awesome. What you're going to do is you're going to focus your attention on this feeling and fully accept it without fighting it. Don't focus on the thoughts that it might produce. Simply focus on the feeling within your body and completely allow it to be there. This is the same way that great athletes use anger to get into the zone. You see like a great athlete like the late great Kobe Bryant, when he used to be playing, you could see he was very angry. He had this like fire in his eyes, but he was completely under control. And that's because he was capable of allowing the energy to be there without it completely taking over him. So what you're going to do now that you are allowing this feeling to be there is you are simply going to focus your attention on that goal you're trying to achieve and the process of getting towards it, and you are going to immediately start taking action on the process. And at the same time, you don't want to ignore the feeling, because what happens when you try and ignore the feeling and be like, I need to focus on this thing over here rather than on this energy I'm feeling within my body, is that energy just starts distracting you more and more and you're less productive. What you want to do is actually just completely allow the feeling to be there and almost just basically allow it to be your experience while you then focus on this other thing you're trying to do. And what happens when you do this is you're going to watch that really impulsive kind of like energy in the body that tries to get you to do all these things, that usually distracts you, that usually leads to you doing compulsive behaviors, is actually going to dissipate, and you're basically going to very easily get into a flow state and be able to use that energy to help you to get there. And you'll find that you'll be able to get into deep work and be very creative and effective in a way that you normally aren't when you're just kind of in a funk. Now guys, be sure to like this video and leave a comment and say what you think of sexual transmutation, and check out this video right here. It'll go along really well with this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.